Hello everyone, welcome to the Femafricmaths channel. We are very excited about today's interview. It's the second of a series of interviews for 2021. And as we said, we want to highlight the diversity in career options when you study mathematics. And today we have someone in a very unique field who has accepted to be interviewed by us. So hello Comfort, welcome to our channel, and we'd like you to start by introducing yourself.
Hello, Angela. Thanks for inviting me. And my name is Comfort Mintah. From the eastern region of Ghana, but I grew up in Accra, so my entire life was in Accra. And I'm currently in Canada doing my PhD in the field of quantum computing and information with two of my supervisors here. Yeah.
But can you give us a bit between Accra? What did you secondary school? What did you study? University? What did you study? Post university before your PhD? Can you give us a bit into that?
Okay. So I started off from Reese Memorial School in Dansoman in Accra. That's where I did my elementary and junior high school. And then I went to Infantman Girls Secondary School to pursue science, right? So I went in as a science student. And then from Infantman Girls, I went to University of Ghana to do to pursue a career in, I specialized in biomathematical science at that time. Yeah. And now I later single majored mathematics, and then went to the African Institute for Mathematical Science in South Africa to do a master's in mathematical science. And that was where I met my supervisor, Professor David Krebs. And then from there, he brought me here to Canada, and I did a second master's, and now I'm doing my PhD. So yeah.
Wow, interesting. Yeah. So at the university, what made you choose maths, right? You said you started as a biomathematician, so that was a bit diverse, right? So what made you narrow it down to a major in mathematics?
I think that's for me, it's more like when I started school, as any Ghanaian or any female child, I was lucky. My parents did understand girl child education. But of course, they wanted me to pursue a career in either the health sciences, to become a medical doctor or a nurse or like something like that, right? So that was in my when I started University of Ghana, I was sure that I was going to do medicine. After the first year, I didn't make the cut to medical school, so I decided to continue with biomath, and then apply for biochemistry, and then after biochemistry, go to grad school for medicine, and that was the plan. But and I actually was the only student from biomath who made it to the biochemistry program, and so it was exciting. But I was there, and the spark of the motivation and the spark was missing. And so I think once I was with my friends and I was telling them, I'm doing well academically, there's no doubt about that, but something is missing, and I'm not like excited as I used to be when I was I was a first year student and all these things. And one of my friends was like, so if you have an opportunity to go to math, would you go? And I laughed, and I was like, okay. When you hear this, you thought it's friendship, so we're laughing, and I was like, okay, I might go or might not go. It depends, right? So that was when she told me that Dr. Prince has been looking for me and gave me his contact. So I contacted him, went to see him. But the point is that when I went, like every other student who asked, what is the relevance of doing math? When I finish math, what would I do with that? That was the answer to the question that I wanted. And he gave me really interesting ideas and places I can apply mathematics. But the truth is that wasn't enough to convince me, because I felt he was a mathematician. So of course he would say nice things about math. until I went to see my chemistry lecturer, Dr. Duamekpo at that time, and he was teaching me organic chemistry. I told him about it, and he said, there was one thing he said, which was the turning point, because he said, you don't know how good you are in math, and if you go to math as a female, you'll be unstoppable. And that was the turning point. And I quickly contacted Prince, who is now the center president of AIMS Ghana, and he helped me do the process to come back to the Department of Mathematics. But I would say one of the, Dr. Margaret McIntyre was one of the head of department at that time, also played a very major role. I saw her go to the Dean of Science, convince her to change my paperwork and all those things to mathematics. So she also played a very major role in transferring me to math. And I'm grateful for that as well, yeah.
Wow, very interesting. So yeah, you mentioned Prince. Yeah, so Prince is also my postdoc mentor, and he's also been very instrumental in my journey through University of Ghana, AIMS, and all that. So it's something profound he's really doing in getting us to choose maths and also stay in mathematics, right?
Yeah.
So you've mentioned Prince, the other lecturer, I couldn't catch the name, the chemistry lecturer, and you also mentioned Dr. McIntyre. So I would think of them as your mentors, right? So you've mentioned some mentors who have played critical roles. Do you have other mentors, and what role have they played in your journey?
I would say that I do have my mentors, like my supervisors. For me, my mentor, as I move across my academic career, it's not a female mentor or a male mentor. Whoever inspires me, I just go for that person, right? So my supervisors, Professor David Cripps and Professor Rajesh Pirara, has also played an important role in my career path, especially in the field of quantum computing. They still help me with choosing the right programs, the right job applications, that, like, the ones that fits you. And so they are one of the the two people I'm also very grateful at my higher level of education as well.
Okay, so you mentioned quantum computing, quantum computing. That's all your PhD in. We want you to break it down for our audience to be able to understand. So we have high school audience watching us, and we would want you to tell them something very fascinating about it, so that they will see that okay, there's something interesting they can do when they study mathematics. So what is quantum computing? Why did you choose to study it? And maybe a little bit into what you are working on.
Okay. So quantum computing is nothing crazy. Like they have in their like a class, the computers they have in front of them that we are using at the moment is called a classical computer. And what we have right now can do things like send emails and other things, which the quantum computer will be able to do that as well. But the quantum computer will be able to run more data in a very short amount of time as compared to what our computers are doing now. And that is what is interesting about it. So if our computers will do it in 5 minutes, the quantum computer will do it in a second, or even like no minute at all, because it's like really powerful. And that is one of the interesting thing about it. But in my area of expertise, I work in quantum local operations and classical communication. And what I mean in a more simplified way is if I say, okay, Angela is in Ghana and I am in Canada here, we have, so let's say we have a box of item, and the item we have is different, right? So they are not the same item, but one of the items in the box is shared between myself and Angela. So what we do is we do the local operation. So the local operation I mean is I'll do some whatever I want to do, come up with a result. The local means that when I'm here in Canada, I can't go to Angela in Ghana and do what she has to do, like in Ghana, because that is her local place. And I am here, so that's what I mean by the local operation. Then the classical communication comes in when I take a phone and call Angela and tell Angela, oh, when I did my measurement or whatever I did here, I got this result. And then I tell Angela about it, but I look at it in one direction. So when I call Angela, Angela cannot call me, and she will use my information to figure out what the item that is shared between the two of us. Yes, and that is the protocol I use. But it's a very simple protocol, like I explained, but the mathematical characterization behind it is very interesting and complicated. So that's what I do for my work. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Are there any applications in industry or around that? Because
One
I think of it as like you encoding and decoding messages, like sending secret
exactly,
messages.
yes. So some of these applications, like you said, is in they're trying to send a message and making sure that there's no intercept between the messages that we are sending. And also a very like the most important application for us is quantum teleportation. So the ability to teleport something from one point to another is one of the applications of that. Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Mm.
So I've been listening and it sounds very interesting. So if someone, you came from a background of a degree in mathematics, single major, you went to Ames, then you did a master's, then to a PhD. But between your undergrad and maybe before your second master's, or okay, maybe during your second master's, what skills did you acquire apart from the rigorous maths that you knew? What other skills did you acquire that you have found very useful in your PhD? So that if someone is watching us and wants to be in your field, they can use this time to work on those skills.
I think that's one of the major skills that I have learned is mathematical problem solving, right? Having a problem and trying to break this problem into smaller pieces and understand them and be able to solve the problem. And that's one of the things that I acquired in Ames, which is very important. Also, some of the courses I took became very relevant. Like you said, there are so many courses we take at the university level or even in high school that we don't know its applications later, and we're asking ourselves, why am I doing a pure math course? Why am I doing this course and all those courses? But they have really important application because in my work, I apply functional analysis tools, linear algebra tools, graph theory, and all these things that the courses that I took at Ames, which at that time I didn't know would be relevant or would be important in studying quantum computing, and they all play a major role in my work as well. Yeah.
Do you use any programming language?
So I'm not on the programming side, so I don't program, but most of my colleagues program using Python and MATLAB and other softwares for their work. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. So yeah, that's why for you, what you mentioned was mainly the theoretical base, right? So you mentioned graph theory and other things that you did. Wow, very interesting. Yeah, that leads me to my next question. So what's your motivation for doing this quantum computing stuff? Like what really drives you to wake up every morning? I know how challenging PhD is and pick your work and continue and try. You're almost at the end, so I'm sure you've really worked so hard to now. So what is it that drives you to do your
So
work?
I think that when I was at Ames, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do because some of the courses that were being run were courses I had already done in University of Ghana, and I still didn't know those were the things I want to specialize in. But the major thing is it was a new field. And when I came to Canada, this was a field that was being, it was part of a math department program for first year students and third year students in engineering in the field of mathematics. And we don't have that in our curriculum. And that is what kind of drives me to want to do better and do more. And if given the opportunity, we want to introduce this into our curriculum as well, because I don't want Africa to be left behind quantum revolution, and Africa is always behind some of these things, and it would be nice to have us as part of the quantum revolution on building a quantum computer in the future. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. I hear the next revolution is going to be quantum, right? So yeah, just gearing up for it. Yeah, I think there are very few people. I don't know if maybe you are the only person from Ghana who's doing quantum computing. I don't know. Do you know any others in the field?
I think that I would say that I'm one of the first female
Oh,
from Ghana
so
who is
maybe
who is
it'll be
working
an advertisement.
yeah in
Our
quantum.
first PhD in quantum computing
Yeah.
from Ghana. Wow,
Yeah.
that's such a
in
big
yeah
achievement.
in quantum computing. But I would say that when I got the opportunity in quantum computing, I try to mentor students who are and encourage students in this area of expertise. So some of the students I've mentors are from across the world, but there's one more Ghanaian, Jennifer, who is currently at Utah at the African Institute of Mathematical Science in Ghana. And also, she is a master's student here in Guelph, but working online from home. So yes, I try to encourage people in this field as well.
Exactly. So there's this quote that's when you are the first in a field, it shouldn't be an achievement that you just boast about, and you don't want anyone to be in that space. So you are the first and you want to be the only, but it gives you that responsibility to create more opportunities for the younger one, or even remove barriers in place so that you can have more people in it. So that's a very great thing you are doing in mentoring the next generation of females in quantum computing. I know Jennifer, she's very, very hardworking and all that. This week she's been preparing for exams. So yeah, I'm very happy to see that you are mentoring her. But our last but one question will be this: what are some of the challenges that you have faced? As a female in the field, or even just being in a field which is relatively new, what are some of the challenges you face or are facing, and how did you overcome these challenges?
I think that for me, the biggest challenge is, like you said, you're female, so some of these field of expertise, especially in math, is male dominated. So you have to prove yourself all the time when it comes to being with the males and showing actually you know your stuff. And so that is one of the major things which you have to deal with. And the ability for them to see you as a colleague and not just a female or some pretty girl or some girl or whatever they want to see it. And also, I have learned and along my career never to give up, right? No matter how, like you said, PhD can be challenging. There are days where you have to be in your bed and cry and say, okay, this is too hard and all these things. But the most important thing is always to tell yourself that you can do whatever you want to do as long as you set your mind to it. So that is one of the things that encourages me a lot, and I keep telling myself I can do it. And I think there's this quote by Thomas Edison that says that the way to succeed is not to give up, but always try to give it one more try. Just tell yourself, I want to try one more and try one more, and that is how you make it. So I use this to actually encourage me and tell myself I can do it. And most importantly, always love yourself, because it's important. If you love yourself, you can do whatever you want. You wouldn't be worried about the negativity and everything that goes on around us in our career. Yeah.
I agree with you. Being the only female in a male-dominated field can be a bit. Sometimes it feels lonely, or like you said, you have to prove others that you are good. It's like you're always fighting or something. You're always
Fighting
proving
with
stuff, and
yourself, yeah.
yeah, or even the systems, right, which expect you to maybe be a woman and be quiet or things. But yeah, but like you said, you never give up. You keep on working, and you're encouraged to continue with it. So, but before we go, your final message. So we have audience from all, not even Africa, all across the world. Sometimes in our chats, we have people from Canada, from the US, and all that's in our top 10 most views. So, what would be your inspiring message to a young girl watching us? So, for us, we want to see girls being confident to take up careers and mathematics related fields. So what would be your final words to them, that message that will push them or drive them to pursue mathematics?
My first message I would tell them is, like I said, don't give up in math, and remember that you are better. If you are hanging in there, then it means you're good, right? So work very hard. Remember to know that if you tell yourself that you can do something, you can do it. Be confident in yourself and keep fighting and doing everything. There's nothing meant for males and nothing meant for females. You can do whatever you want to do and achieve whatever dream you want to achieve in the future. You just have to tell yourself you can do it all the time, and that is when you do it. And yeah, and be yourself and enjoy, have fun with mathematics. It's fun and it's exciting, and yeah, enjoy the process as well. Yeah.
So you can do whatever you set your mind to do. You wanted to do quantum computing. It didn't matter whether you were going to be the first or only person from Ghana in the field. You set out your mind, and this is what I want to do, and you've gone all out, and you are almost at the end of your PhD, right? And you should enjoy what you are doing. That's very important, right? Because if you want to choose a career, it shouldn't just be for the certificates you get after your PhD or the money, the money. Yeah, it should be something you have this joy in doing. Like you wake up every morning and there's this drive that keeps you moving. So do not whatever you set out your mind to do, you can do it and enjoy what you do. Thank you very much, Comfort, for answering our invitation, and we look forward to sharing your inspiring story as the first Ghanaian to get a PhD in quantum computing with the world. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.